Hello everyone and welcome back to the show. And on today's episode, we're actually going to go over some more of the YouTube comments. I actually got a comment that had quite a few questions in it, and some of them were really good questions. So obviously I just want to go over them and clarify a few things. And we have had a few technical difficulties. The provider I was using to host the PDF and everything that I wanted it in one place had decided not to do it anymore. So we're looking for alternatives. So if anybody's been trying to get hold of the PDF, I am trying to sort that out and get something else in place. So I do apologise for that it's taken so long to get that sorted. But we're gonna dive into these questions because some of them are pretty good, and I assume a lot of people starting up dog walking will probably have very similar questions. So we'll dive into it. So the first one was on the last episode about using local businesses to further enhance your own business. And one of the questions that was asked was, would I offer commission to people who would refer clients? No, personally, I would not. I would not personally offer commission, purely because I don't want them only to refer clients to me on the basis that they think that they'll get something out of it, a bit of cash or a bit of incentive or anything like that. I would want them to refer clients to me because they know I'm good at what I do, and I'm obviously the best person for the job, and they trust people to refer to me. I don't want people to thinking there's a bit of an incentive there and a bit of commission basis, for them to send them to me, and then it just looks like they're only referring people to me to walk their dogs because there's a little bit of something in it for them. I would personally want them to refer clients to me, like I said, just on the assumption that I am the best person for the job, that I'm the person to go to for it. So I wouldn't offer commission because I wouldn't want that incentive or that to be a factor. Like I said, the businesses that I'm going to use, or I would try and get friendly with, are people that I trust as well, and I would actually use their services. Like if there was like 3 or 4 dog groomers in our area, and I would want to use the absolute best one for that job. I would want to get in touch and I would want to use their services. So then I would recommend their service over everybody else's because I know they're the best and that's what I use. So I would sort of try and do it as a bit of give and take. I wouldn't just go to anybody and just try and, do you know what I mean? I wouldn't go to anybody and expect them just to refer people to me. I would want to build a bit of a business relationship, a bit of a client relationship, but I would only do that with the best of the best. I wouldn't just go to anyone mediocre on the assumption that I'm going to get a little bit of something out of it. Like I said, if there's 4 of them and I go to, even like, I'm not trying to shit on anybody's business, don't take this the wrong way, but if I were to go to the one that hasn't got the very best reputation, they haven't done quite a good a job as what somebody else could have done, potentially, for whatever reason, this is all hypothetical, and I started referring people to them just because I were going to get a little bit of commission out of it, it looks a little bit bad on me, and like my recommendation and my word isn't as good as what it should be. So personally, I wouldn't do a commission route for people referring them to me. I'd want to build a relationship so that the people would want to send them to me, just not purely because they were going to get something out of it. But that's me. That's my opinion on the job here. How do you manage clients' expectations as far as time management? I'm assuming what the person's asking here is how do I keep on top of all the clients and all the walks and stuff like this. So the way that I set my business up is that we do 3 walks a day. We sort of like do one in the morning, one in the mid-morning, and one just after lunch. And I just do 3. I offer these 3 out, whichever would be best for the dog. Obviously, you can't just chuck them in any group. Like if I had say a Tuesday morning group that were really, really tricky and the dog that they've got probably wouldn't suit in that, I would try and move them into a different group that would be more suitable for them, or try and work around it in that respect. So yeah, I just do 3 walks a day. So for the client's expectations, they're either expecting me to come pick up at 1 of 3 times. That is it. And what I will do is, there are some clients that just have the exact same slot every single time. So I just send them a message in the morning saying, pick up usual time. And then I've got some guys that do not mind what time they go because they're either working from or whatever. They just want to know what time I'm coming. I'll just say pick up at X time, or if it's the next day, pick up at X time. If I know well in advance and the group's good enough, then I'll say to them the day before, I'll be picking the guys up around, 11:30 or whatever. So as far as like time management, I have 3 walks a day. That is all I do. The dogs either go into one of those, so the clients understand that I only do 3 walks, they're the times, and I've picked a group for them if they haven't already got like specific groups that they're already in, specific times that they take every single week. And then first thing in the morning, I'll just ping out a message saying I'll be picking up at usual time. Some clients that I have, say like 5 days a week, and they go in the exact same slot. So I have like some dogs that go 5 days a week. Their slot is the 11 o'clock slot. So that's just, it is what it is. I don't even message those clients anymore because they're at work. And do you know what I mean? They know that the dogs are going to go at 11. And if it's any other change, then I'll message them and let them know the different times. But as far as the client's concerned, it's just the same time every single day. So yeah, I just send a message out in the morning and I just do 3 walks a day just to make scheduling so much easier. The next one was, how do I deal with clients who are very picky and needy? Obviously, they think like the client knows best kind of thing, and you do want to make them happy, but how do I deal with overbearing clients? I mean, it depends on the situation. It depends on what they're being overbearing about. Like sometimes you've sort of got to build up a relationship before you know what the client's going to want and want. Like the way that I've done mine is because my business is quite local, and I'm not just serving random people from all over all the time. Like people aren't just messaging me to book in for the next day. I do a trial walk. I get to know the clients. I do like a 2-week taster to see if we're all going to be a good match and everything like that. And it depends on what they're being overbearing about. So for example, if you had a client that was saying, they're a little bit too dirty, a little bit cleaner, and you could do with being a little bit cleaner before they enter the house and things like this. I sort of have a thing at the very beginning, because they've picked me to take their dogs into the malls. I have said to the clients, I cannot guarantee the dog will be 100% clean up on return. Like I make that very clear that the dog will not be always 100% clean. So do you want them put in anywhere special? And if they say no, just let them in the house, I will do my very best to clean them off, towel dry them down, but they're already under the impression that I can't get them 100% clean because they're dogs. Some people, if you've got a spaniel, that sucker's not coming back clean, ever. The bloody mud sponges. But yeah, so how do I deal with clients who are very picky and needy? I just try to come to a common ground. It depends on what they're being picky or needy about. Do you know what I mean? And at some point, if it is starting to interfere with the business, it's starting to interfere with the times, it's starting to interfere with other clients. Like, I don't want them going with this client. I don't want them going at this time. I want them doing this. I want them back at a certain time. You can't be doing this. At some point, you're going to have to sort of, because you're not an employee, you've got to understand this. Fair enough, they are paying you to take their dogs out, but there are dogs that can replace these dogs. And I know that sounds harsh, but there is. That's the fact. That is the nature of it. There are dogs that would be quite happy to replace that dog. So dogs are not in short supply to walk. So you're going to have to, at some point, you're going to have to understand that you're a business owner. You are your own boss. You're not there to take orders from everyone else. You obviously want to make the client happy, do everything you can to provide an absolute stellar service. But there's got to be some boundaries there. Like if they start being really, really picky and needy, you're going to have to say, look, unfortunately, I have other dogs to take care of. I can't be spending all this time on this one. All the dogs get the same amount of time and same amount of level of care. It just depends on the issue. So you're going to have to find, if they are being really picky and needy, you're going to have to sort of say, well, I can't be doing this, unfortunately, blah, blah, blah. You're just going to have to be fair with them and say, you do have other dogs in the car. Like some people have in the past, not with my business, but I know with other dog walkers that I've seen, they were having to spend 10-15 minutes cleaning down the dog because they wanted it doing not with their washing kit. They wanted them to use their outside tap and towel dry them fully before they let them back in the house. And then they were like, I want them feeding as well on left. Right. I understand this, but we are doing a pet care service, don't get me wrong, but we are just walkers. We're not there to be feeding the dogs. We're not there to be doing X, Y, and Z. You're there to do your absolute best, but at some point when it's starting taking 10-15 minutes, you've got other dogs in the car. Do you know what I mean? And you can't be leaving in there. If it's hot, and there's not, and your AC is not that good, you can't leave the car running or whatever, or if the car's out of sight or the van's out of sight, you can't be spending 10-15 minutes focusing on one dog. So I would say that you will try your absolute best to get them as clean as absolutely possible, but you cannot guarantee that they're going to be fully clean. And then you would have to say you do have other dogs in the car, and it's unfair to leave the other dogs in the car, because then you would have to make them understand that they wouldn't like it if their dog was sat in the car for 10-15 minutes while you was attending somebody else's dog. So for the clients that are being very picky, needy, you're just going to have to do your absolute best to come to some fair ground with them. Like I say, it depends on what they're being picky or needy about, but you're just going to have to make them understand that you're trying your absolute best, and this is the service that you kind of offer, and you're going to have to just come to some sort of mutual agreement on the issue. Again, it all depends on what the issue is. The next question again was a bit about pricing and how to gauge what the prices should be, and then what you should charge per additional dog added. If no one in the market's doing what they're doing, how do they gauge the prices? The way that I like to do this is you do a little bit of market research, see what other dog walkers in your area are doing, just so you've got a vague idea. But the best way to do this is that you need to work out how much you would like to make per week or per month. You need to start there. There's no point saying, right, well, I think it's fair to charge like £10 a dog or whatever, and then finding out in a couple of months' time that it's far too cheap. You need to you need to up them prices because you're not making what you need to make a month. So what I would suggest to you guys, all the people that are trying to gauge what they should be, charging per month, per dog or whatever, is that you should really find out how much you want to make per week, per month, and then divide that sort of like by how many dogs you're going to need and how many walks you can do every single day. So say if you wanted to make like X amount a month, per week, you're going to have to figure out how many walks a week you're going to do. So say if you can only do sort of 2 walks a day maximum or whatever, and you're only going to do that Monday to Friday, that's 10 walks in total. And then say if you're going to put 5 dogs in each group, which is 10 dogs a day, you're going to have to figure out how much you're going to charge per dog. So you're going to have to work backwards. Find out how much you want to make per week, find out how many walks you want to do ideally, find out how many dogs you're going to put in each group to make that amount, and then that's going to give you the sort of price of what you're looking at to make, what you need to charge per dog. So work backwards. Don't decide on a price per dog, decide on a price per week that's going to cover everything financially for you guys, and then work backwards from there. And then do a bit of market research. Like if you're offering something in your area or your market area that nobody else is offering, you can be cheeky and charge a little bit more if it's in demand. You could go the route of like really high quality walks and longer walks, but you charge more. Like you could just do, say, 1 walk a day that lasts 2.5 hours and charge £20 per dog, and you take 6 dogs per thing. That's £120. You've just done 1 walk, that's 2.5 hours. You're done and dusted in 1 day, depending on how much you want to make. Obviously, other things to come off that fuel, blah, 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 blah. But you get what I'm saying. You could charge a little bit more. It doesn't just have to be 3 walks a day, 2 walks a day. You could do 1 big hike walk, charge a little bit more for that because the dog could be out of the house for like 2 to 3 hours. So I would go that route. As the other part of the question that we're saying, how much do you charge per additional dog? People have so many different like ways of doing this. Some people charge £5 per extra dog. So say if you charge £12, then it'll be £17 for 2 dogs. Some people do like a percentage charge, like the next dog will be like whatever percent off or whatever. And some people, so I used to do from multi-dog households. The first ever multi-dog household I had was actually 4 dogs from one house. And at the beginning of my thing, I actually just said, right, look, so we'll just do £10 per dog instead of £12 per dog. And then I said, if the other 3 don't go, but it goes to 1 dog, then I'll charge the solo dog rate, which is a little bit more than normal. But yeah, so at the very start of my business, my first ever household was £10 per dog. And I actually felt quite bad that they were actually going to be spending loads of money. In hindsight, I would just charge my standard price per dog. The discount is basically coming from the fact that you're picking dogs up from the same house, reducing travel time, reducing stuff. It's all coming from one house. So I just knocked it down to £10 per dog. But that was back when I first started. Looking back, I probably would have charged a little bit more or restructured my pricing a little bit different. So like what you could have done hypothetically is you could have like said, right, well, it's going to be £14 for one dog in one group house, right? You just got one dog, £14. The next one could be £12. The next one could be £10, and then the next one could be like £8. Just knock off £2 per dog every single time. That's one way that you could have done it. There's loads of different ways, but you've got to sort of figure out what works for you. Originally in mine, I just said, right, we'll just do £10 per dog because there were 4 dogs from one house, and that's sort of what I rolled with. And looking back in hindsight, I probably would have charged a little bit more or restructured it a little bit different. So you've got to find that works for you and what is fair as well. Some people don't even offer a discount. I know there's quite a few dog walkers near me that just do not offer a discount whatsoever, like at all. They just like they charge £14 per dog, and what they're paying for, that dog is technically taking up a space. And if they didn't go, then that could be filled by a full price dog. Do you know what I mean? So some people do not offer a discount. They literally just offer the price, and they say, right, well, if you want 3 dogs to go, that's 3 times 14. That's as simple as. So it's up to you guys how you gauge sort of what your discounts are going to be and what you think is fair. They asked if it's just me running the business by myself. Yes, it absolutely is. Sometimes my wife tags along to do a couple of walks, but other than that, no, it is literally just me on my Todd manning all these dogs. The question that followed that was, and if I have anyone else, what would you look for in getting someone else to work with you or hire someone, and what qualities I look for in a person? You see, for me, I am really, really picky. This is why I work by myself, because I can't guarantee that somebody else is going to offer the same level of service and care that I am. Because I'm quite particular in how I do my walks. I'm quite particular in how I structure it. I'm quite particular in how I manage everything. So for me, working with somebody probably wouldn't work, because sounds like I'm the overbearing one, which is possible. But yeah, qualities that I would look for. I would look for somebody that has got great mannerisms with the dogs. You know, they are impeccable with the dogs. They absolutely love dogs. They love to care for them. And not these kind of people that go, oh, I love my absolute fur babies. I love them to absolute bits, and then stick them in a crate for 14 hours a day. Shots fired there. But yeah, I would look for somebody that really loves dogs, really has a really good nature, and a really good nurturing tendencies towards them to look after the dogs. And somebody that is really diligent as well, you know, always on the lookout for other people, that would always work on recall, get the dogs back, really good social skills with the clients and stuff like that. You know, just all the qualities you would want in yourself. I would want a double of me. I would want somebody that's got a really good, that can build a really good relationship with the clients. I would want somebody that would be really nurturing towards the dogs, and just and care for the dogs in the absolute best way. And they're not like these that are just going to kick a bit of poo into a grass so they can hide it. The kind of people that are going to pick it up, be quite diligent, be quite observant, be very careful with the dogs, and, you know, very courteous towards other members of the public. Because again, we can be walking sort of 4 or 5 dogs at a time. In my opinion, it's up to us to be a little bit more diligent and courteous to the members of public when we're out there. They're the kind of qualities that I would look for in somebody else. How did I get started doing this? Right, well, basically, I worked at a supermarket doing the delivery driving, and I wanted something else to get me out of it. I hated the driving that we were doing weren't too bad, because we got to go out into the Yorkshire Dales area, so it was quite nice, don't get me wrong. But I had my dogs, I had the kids, and I wanted more time, and I wanted to do something that I enjoyed. Like, I enjoyed walking and hiking, I enjoyed being outdoors. We just got our puppy Odin. We knew we were rescuing our shepherd, and I thought, how can I do a job that gets me out of working for a corporation like that, where they just do not give a shit about you whatsoever? Work for myself on my own term, my own prices, my own holidays. Do you know what I mean? And how can I involve the dogs and the family and make it something that would be really good? Anyway, we sort of landed on the idea of dog walking and doing dog behaviour training, because I really was pretty into the dog reactivity scene, and we did do a bit of training, and I really enjoyed training dogs. I enjoyed training my dogs as well. So we actually thought, right, well, we'll tell you what we'll do. We'll start putting out some dog walks in there, and we'll take ours, and then we'll tag other people's in as we keep going along. And eventually I got a little bit of traction there. And then people brought me on to do some recall training, because I offered a recall training package for dogs, because recall seems to be one of the major issues where people struggle with the most. And basically the idea just came from the fact that I wanted to spend more time with the kids, more time with the family, and incorporate my dogs to give them the best that they need. And this is what it is. We said we'll do a bit of walking, we'll do a bit of training. So we started doing the training, and then I keep getting walks, and then people started recommending me to other people, and the group walks just absolutely took off. So it was just sort of one of those things where I just wanted to get out of my job, and I absolutely love being outside, and I love being with the dogs, and I just wanted to incorporate more of everything sort of on my terms. And that's how I basically started doing this. One of the second to last question on this one is when I get down and you're just having a rough day, because of clients or whatever the case may be, what keeps me doing it? Basically all the reasons that I've just said why I've started it. So what keeps me doing it is you've got to understand that like clients are going to be clients. People are always going to be people. People can be picky, overbearing. They can be quite difficult in how things are done, but the dogs aren't. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some dogs can be hard work. Dogs can make it bloody challenging. So when you're having a bad day, and it's just being one, and you're just feeling a bit down, the thing that keeps me coming back to it is that I do enjoy the presence of dogs. I enjoy being outside. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've been out this morning with my dogs. Some were just coming up over the thing. There were the moors. We had a couple of dogs, and it was just refreshing. So for me, the thing that keeps me coming back to it is the fact that I enjoy doing it. Like, don't do this job if you think it's just going to be for the money. If you like dogs, but you're not really that fussed for being outside and stuff like that, it's probably not going to be the job for you, because when you get into rough weather, you're going to have your work cut out for you. So what keeps me doing it is the fact that I enjoy the job. I enjoy it. I enjoy walking the dogs. I enjoy the company of dogs. Do you know what I mean? Regardless of whether or not the client's being iffy. Right, fair enough, the client's being iffy, but end of the day, I know I'm doing a fantastic job with the dog, so maybe they're just having a bad day too, and it's just getting passed down the shit line. But yeah, so what keeps me doing it is the fact that there's worse jobs out there. Like, you could quite easily give this up and go work in an office, and then if I went to an office, oh God, that is my absolute worst nightmare, just sat at a desk. So yeah, what keeps me doing it is the fact that I get paid to get outside, walk the dogs, be outside in the sunshine at times, and just enjoy it. And it's really good for my mental health, just being outside and stuff like that. So again, what keeps me doing it is the fact that I enjoy it, and that's basically it. If you find a job that you enjoy, you're never going to work a day in your life. So yeah, where do I potentially see my business in 5 years? Well, who knows? Who knows? At the moment, we're just sort of walking the dogs. We do have a lot of other things. I don't know. I mean, I would kind of like to go down the route of, maybe winding down potentially the walking, because we are fully booked, and spend a little bit more time and spend more time teaching people and putting courses together for other people to learn how to do dog walking to a really high standard. I don't know, honestly. 5 years time, I see it sort of roughly where we are now. We potentially expand. We have some ideas where we might potentially expand into some, maybe hitch back into training, do a bit more courses, training other people to do dog walking, things like this. Product lines are always on my mind, things that we could make. I have some really good ideas. So, I mean, it would be nice to eventually expand the Audience Pause idea into a brand, which would be really nice. But yeah, anyway, that is it. I think that's all the questions. We're 25 minutes in nearly. But yeah, that's all the questions. Some really good questions there. They were really good ones, actually. Had to make me think about, the business itself. Yeah, so that's it for the questions today, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you found some insight into these, because like I say, these were really good questions, and I imagine a lot of you guys will have the very same questions. So thank you for tuning in. We're going to wrap this episode up here, I think. And again, anybody that was asking about the PDF, I am so sorry that we're just having a few difficulties trying to find a different host, to put it all in one place kind of thing, because the last thing went a bit Pete Tong. But yeah, we're on it, don't worry. So that is it for this episode, guys. We're going to wrap it up here. Again, thank you so much for these questions. It's nice to know that you guys are listening and hopefully enjoying these little podcast series. And we're going to wrap it up, and I will catch you guys in the next one. And as always, please leave your comments and questions down below. I will make more Q&A episodes on this. Awesome. Right, guys. I'll peace out. See you.